weekend coming up, guys, and the return of DB3 to the Mermaid City. November, it was crazy. It was awesome. They say it's going to be even better this time. Keyshawn's a world champion. Absolutely. I think it's going to be off the chain there at the Scope.
No, I'm really excited. I just wanted to say that, just seeing the video he posted earlier and just how much the city is behind him and how much this means, it gives a bigger outlook on how, kids can be successful, different routes that they can take, different interests and things of that nature. And, just him being from our area, we're not having too many numbers and how many fighters that we have. I mean, he's just doing it to the highest level. I'm really respectful of what he's doing currently.
Yeah, we got our second major fight here in 6 months or so. That's a really major thing. I think we're seeing a trickle-down effect of a lot of things happening with sports in our area, and this is like one of the big ones, I believe. It does a couple of things, for the area. It reminds kids just to that they can dream big even here, that you don't have to outsource, you don't have to leave, you don't have to outsource it, that you can do, exactly what it is that you want to do right here. Many times we're watching like these athletes on TV, and it seems like they're so far away. But like when an athlete of his caliber comes and he's giving back to the area in a way, he's in his prime. It's not like his career is anywhere near over. So just to be able to witness that here at home, like that's a big inspiration for the kids. It's not just. Boxing is that goes further than just boxing. Football, basketball, swimming, volleyball, tennis, whatever it is you do, it just reminds you that the talent is here, and I think that it's right on time.
One of the coolest things I think for me is the fact that the family aspect of it, how they do everything as family. I think that's so cool. DB3, the Davis brothers, you got Keyshawn, Kelvin, Keon, Troy Isley's in there. They're fighting partner from up in Alexandria. But we were out at their media workout tonight as they get ready for the fight, and rather than all three of them have their singular separate workout, which it was on the schedule, they all hopped in the ring together. It was pretty crowded in there, but it was cool because they are so unified as family. And even when we talked about Norfolk State spring game, hey, can we talk to you? Hey, let's all do it together. Let's, the feeling of family that they have and cheering each other on. And actually, I'm trying to think, I want to say it was Keyshawn who said, I really don't like fighting on the same night as my brothers do because I'm so zoned in on my fight, I can't pay attention and cheer them on. I feel like it was Keyshawn who said that back in when they announced this fight here last month. For us, it's cool as fans, but I totally get that, right? I mean, hey, I want to cheer each other on and everything like that. Now, Keon said, hey, I always fight first. I'm done when they fight, so I don't mind, whatever. It's all good, right? But I think just the way that it brings the city together, as we saw in November, and the fact that Keyshawn's coming back now as a world champion, I think that's going to take this to another level, and it being in the summer is pretty cool too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead, sir.
No, I was just saying, it doesn't get any better than the dream of being able to share this spotlight with your brothers, family members, and in their case, of course, the three brothers. For us, like you said, watching, it gets no better than being able to see all three of them take on an opponent in the same night. But, you never really think about it that way. I'm glad that you kind of brought it up. That you never really think about it. They never, get the chance to sit down and, actually, I guess, hone in on the moment. For their,
exactly. And we're like, cool, right? Yeah. And they're like, well, but yeah, exactly, yeah.
Wow. But for us, to Keyshawn and, his brothers, you guys put on a show every time, and we're so grateful, so thankful for you guys continuing to bring it back home, and, literally and physically. So I
think a good point that you bring up is how they enjoy watching each other, and they just enjoy supporting each other. That can speak volumes for the area, and especially an area that hasn't always done camaraderie and togetherness in the best ways. I would say we've done it, but just to certain degrees. I would say you see it in certain pockets. It's something in the pot for everybody, and they're from the same exact place. And to be able to all three of them have a successful career in their own right, and still be able to support each other, not having to slight one another like. You see that in a lot of other aspects, a lot of other team sports, especially sports that are physical in nature, especially, and I just think that speaks volumes to, you know, the area they come from, the examples that they're being to the young men, to the coaches that are watching them, to everybody that is supporting them on how to support one another and still pursue what's for you. And I think that of all things, that to me is what speaks the loudest of their, you know, their latest actions, I would say.
Setting forth an example. That's what it is. You know, and like, again, you hear basketball, football, these things like that. Kids might try out some karate, mixed martial arts, or boxing.
Right.
You know, and then it might just be something that they, you know, did in life. And, you know, something in this situation right here, you know, is able to show that, you know, in this realm, you may start off as the small guy, but, you know, Keyshawn and his brother are no longer those small guys. And, you know, they got more work to put in for sure, but they're trending. They're trending in a positive pattern. So, you know, it's just, like, again, like I said earlier, it just shows that the dream can be real with this and in this realm for people like us from this area. So I know it means that. I'm pretty sure that means the most to those guys when they once they get a chance to sit down and, you know, see what they're doing and impacting the people around them.
The present and the future, because, you know, we have world champion, and then none of them have ever lost a pro fight, which is cool. And Dom, you said unity, camaraderie, and area, which I think is really cool because Norfolk State spring game, rewind a little bit, Michael Vick, Allen Iverson, and Keyshawn Davis and his brothers were all there. Yeah. Keyshawn, Kelvin, and Keon. And Iverson and Vick are big supporters of Keyshawn too. So I think right now what we're seeing is, you know, this cross-sport support from throughout the area. And I'm very excited. I know, you know, Bruce Smith, I know Michael Vick, I know I can't remember if AI was at the November fight or not, but it's the who's who of the 757. So I think this is just another example of the talent that comes out of here. But I also think the way that Keyshawn has beaten his opponents here lately has been, I mean, think back to November. He fought Gustavo Lemos, who weighed in, and I want to say he was probably 20 pounds overweight when the fight happened. Keyshawn said, "Yeah, this is not gonna get in the way of my homecoming fight. We're doing this." Knocks him out in the second round.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think he's going a full 10, 12 rounds in a couple fights now. I mean, he is I mean, it feels like every time he comes out, he just looks more in shape, more fine-tuned. You know, and you guys mentioned it. I mean, he's of the age, I want to say he's 27.
Yeah.
He's of the age where he hasn't even hit his prime yet. So I think I am so excited Saturday night to see what he and Mr. De Los Santos cook up there in the ring. And, you know, until somebody takes him a full-length fight, I wouldn't bet on it. I think you gotta. You know, I'll predict an early round knockout for Keyshawn Davis.
I'm glad that you said that because the video I was referring to earlier, you know, he posted running with the kids.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, they were holding up threes, and I think that he's calling for third round.
Oh, okay.
And don't quote me on that one. I'll go back and look at the video.
Well, they hold up the 3 for DB3.
Okay,
I know
DB3,
that too. So yeah,
I heard him say something about. I got to go back and look, but somebody got knocked down in the third round, and he said a few things after that to rhyme with it. So that's why I'm remembering.
Yeah,
but
that
either way
could be. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I don't know what round, but I'm going knockout.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know, it's just how he's been trending, and I think that's what I was saying. Like a fighter of his caliber, it just him being here just reminds kids that you are able to dream big, as you just said. But it's like excuse the but it doesn't have to be necessarily football. It doesn't have to be basketball. There are, you know, sports such as volleyball, track and field events, the field events and track events. Boxing is a sport that, you know, a lot of you know, you talked about karate. And as kids, I remember doing a lot of everything, kind of just I ended up playing football because that's where, you know, my passion was. But so many times I feel like kids are just giving up on the dream of because it's overlooked or swept under the rug, or even the talent that comes from here. And this just gives an opportunity to help everybody remember that the talent here is not limited to football and basketball. It's everywhere and everything. It's not even in just sports. And so I think that's an important takeaway, you know, from this as well. It's just adding, you know, more fire to the area in an area that needs it.
Yeah.
I think that I'm looking at it as just a positives all around. I don't see any negative effects that it could possibly have. It's been a great trend, and I'm looking forward to seeing, like, the trickle down effect that even happens from this event. It's going to be more, and it's coming, and it's happening now, and so I'm looking forward to seeing it all.
There's going to be a wow factor somewhere Saturday night because he incorporates so much of the local culture into his, like Booker T. Washington's band was the entrance. That was so cool. I thought, right? They all came out to local artists on the PA, I believe, what was their walk up music. Yeah. They celebrated their home. It's funny. Our son, he's 9 right now. He talked about doing boxing once. We had to remind him that they can hit you back. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right, exactly. Hey, I can punch people. Well, I mean that's half the equation. That's pal. You know what I mean?
Half the battle.
So I think it's going to be a great night, and a great night in a great weekend. Where we have a busy sports weekend here in the 757. Stuff at the ocean front. All 7 cities are going to be occupied. You guys have an exciting thing going on up in Hampton. Yeah. We talk about, high school football is becoming this year-round thing. Oh, yeah. And you guys, I know, are pretty involved with a 2-day event up there at Hampton University.
Yep, and so it'll be June 7th and June 8th. This is the Tidewater Showcase hosted at Hampton University. Sound Mind, Sound Body is a company, of course, and they're based out of Detroit, and they're coming down here to shed light on the opportunity that they're presenting. And they've been doing it over 20 years. So working with them and promoting this thing, they've accrued over 42 different colleges to come out and see these players play, as well as
counting.
Yeah, in counting, as well as over 500 athletes coming out to show their talents. Now
500 athletes.
500 athletes, and that and give or take, a few of them are from out of state. We have some coming all the way from Michigan to get that chance as well. That means a lot for a lot of athletes. And so with this one being so big, they'll be coming out to be able to showcase in front of all these coaches around different players as well, to be able to kind of absorb that energy. It's going to be broken up into 3 different sessions, and I just think that it's a huge opportunity for our area because. We do good in recruiting. I'm not saying that, but it's always a help if we're able to throw in a few tools, tips, and strategies that we can utilize to better the situation. And I think that's this right here. So it was with my understanding that a mega camp and a showcase are 2 different things. It's not something that I knew forever. I actually had to educate myself on it as well. So for those college days and things that the high schools put together personally for their athletes. Those things are great as well. Coaches come out there well planned, well put together, and in hopes that, of course, they walk away with some offers, some interest, and things of that nature. On the other side, we have our mega camp where these coaches are voluntarily coming out and wanting to see the new talent that we are putting on pace for these coaches to see, and having Battle and Adidas be a part of it, and it just makes it so much bigger. So for our first 300 registrants that are registered, they receive a free pair of Adidas cleats, sponsored by Adidas, and that is happening at all of the camps as they're running in Detroit, Tennessee, Southern Miss, and so much more. So this is our first time in the Tidewater, and we want to continue to grow this thing, and it's going to be bigger for years to come, but we have to start somewhere. So while they have a camp right now that's running 1,700 athletes, and we have 500, I'm sure that we'll be at that number in the next 2 to 3 years to come. So that's going to be a big event. They have such big names like Lonnie Andrews, Kevin Parker, and Maricus Banks. These are really good quarterbacks. We have Charles Jackson at Green Run, Zayden Pope all the way out from Southampton, Virginia, and many others to match that. So while we have kids that are coming that may have 20-plus offers, 19 or just 5, and then we have some players that are coming out as well just to make a name for themselves, and you never know what comes out of it. That is going to be a great opportunity for our athletes to put on for the area, honestly. And so, again, it's going to be a big thing for us, and there's going to be a meet and greet Saturday as well from 7 to 11 as well, just to get more in tune with the coaches and the players that are going to be participating on Sunday as well. So, it's a 2-day event. They'll be checking in on Saturday. There'll be an event for a meet and greet and a seminar for parents as well, to coach them a little bit on the college recruiting process and things of that nature. And then they'll get to work on Sunday starting at 8:30.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be going out to 3 sessions, and I'm really excited. I'm going to be out there all day, collecting data, talking to the coaches, and, seeing what it is that we can do to help them, push this thing forward.
Why do you think they decided on here? I mean, we know the area, and we know kind of what it brings. but like, did they tell you why they decided on from Detroit to Hampton Roads?
Yeah, so the cool thing about that, I'm glad that you asked. The director and the founder of Sound Mind, Sound Body is actually an alumni of Hampton University.
Okay, so that explains why it's there. Good.
Absolutely.
Good.
Well, now, while he lives in Detroit, he's been doing it in several different universities and cities now, and it was only prevalent, of course, to bring it back to, we would say, his semi-hometown, his second home. So him connecting with Coach Xavier Scott over in Franklin, Virginia, coaching at Southampton.
Yeah.
They worked themselves together for about 2 years, and he said he finally, decided to do it, and we're so grateful for it. We're going to definitely make sure that it's worth the while.
Yeah, fantastic. And what can people expect when they go out there? I mean, they're going to get the full mega showcase or mega camp experience. But what are you guys looking for? What are some things? It's your first one. So what boxes do you hope this checks?
For one, it's a great opportunity. We have been at Sports Plug 757. It's our mission to get the word out on student athletes, not just football, but this particularly happens to be football. It's an exciting opportunity to be able to get names out, push kids, even at, like I said, all levels, D1, D2, D3. It's so many different schools that are there. I'm wanting to meet, I can't wait to meet those different schools and just talk about recruiting processes myself, because when I was in school, that is not something that we didn't have a seminar to sit down and talk to us about, how to recruit, what they're looking for, how to put together tape. Now you have NIL, which is a whole nother ball game. So I don't know, that might maybe end up being part of it or not. But just the opportunity to be able to get kids at the Class 6 schools, kids at Class 1 schools will all be here. And I just think that's a very important thing. We're able to get everybody together. Once again, we talked about the college pro days, how everybody was together, but this is one big mega camp for the whole area.
Right.
And it speaks volumes to that we're able to finally get together on something. We just talked about the camaraderie with the Davises, the Davis brothers, and how that will, sprinkle out throughout the community. And this is a great start for it. I'm looking forward to, I've never been to a camp this big, so how the logistics of it, to see how it's run, the different position groups. I'm just interested just to be able to go and learn, to network, to be able to, the college pro days enable me to, now when I see kids, when I'm watching film, I can shoot, hey coach, have you seen this player? And it's just more opportunity for the area to be able to have that, we should have already had, but somebody has to do the groundwork in order to, build it up, and we're able to, hopefully in the future we'll be actually partnering, but right now we're able to be an intricate part in helping, spread the exposure, spread the love, and just have everybody come together, and just everybody's trying to get to school. The goal is to get to school doing what you love, and that's been the most important part of all of this. And so I just think that I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm thinking that it's going to be an event in which we can capitalize on and continue to build. Who knows what school will end up at, but Hampton University, it's also a way of giving back to, we talked about some players coming, but it's mainly all of the players, not all of, but mainly a plethora of players that we have in the area here. And so, giving back directly at home where you're from, that's always going to be, it hits home.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. How common are these mega camps? And that's an answer that I should know, but how common are these kind of camps where they have all these kids and all these colleges and everything like that? How often does that happen?
Well, I'll use that question and kind of answer the last one as well. I'm guessing that they're often, but it's all about if you know the difference between the two. Again,
sure.
So I guess it's
showcases are common. Yeah, but the mega camp, that's my question. Like, how often do they have these big things where all holy cow?
I'm not sure if they're often or not. And again, these types of camps take so much going into it. They usually have vendors and again sponsors, big names like Adidas and Battle being a part of it, and so it's really big. And for them, it doesn't happen a lot here. It goes back to the question you asked me, what made them bring it down here? And my thing to that is, why not?
I totally agree. Right? We know this area.
Yeah.
I was wondering, it must have caught the eye. And like you said, he's a Hampton alum, so he knows this area too.
And it caught the area. And, so he'll have people that, are part of the organization as well. They've already reached out like, hey, when we come down to the Tidewater Showcase, like, who exactly are we supposed to be watching? And then, a few diamonds in the rough as well. And, I'll be able to, present that to the best of my ability and offer what we know all of all of the kids, but at the same time, for the people who don't know, they would have to actually go and evaluate this thing and really see it. At the end of the day, I'm going to continue to push every kid, right? But for them to know exactly what they're looking for, this is going to be the event to set the foundation for years to come. So now we won't have to worry about asking that question. Now we can have the capacity of 1,700 or whatever that looks like. Absolutely.
Yep.
So again, we have great numbers, and the numbers will continue to grow. But that number that number includes Michigan signees, some people from Carolina as well.
Yeah.
And again, nothing's wrong with that, of course. But it was really, really important to make sure that we had our top talent in this as well. So as we did that, I'm definitely excited for it. This is what I want to see them be able to showcase that on the big stage.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes and just how the first one goes, because then you get a baseline. It's going to be really, really cool. Mm-hmm. And we said it was part of a busy weekend. I mean, that sand soccer is also on the ocean front, and that's a big one. And right. Yeah. And if you've never been to sand soccer before, I mean, pretty cool stuff,
definitely
right?
Different.
Yeah.
It's 30 blocks of on the ocean front of just
literally sand soccer fields
all the way up from ages 8 to the pros, and then we'll be able to see spring sports. We're aiming to get it more love, and this is just a way that we can get out into our community to see like the local talent that we have available, and also it's world talent. We have people teams from North, Central, South America that are coming to play. Like I said, it's 8 all the way up to the pros, and so we see about 12 pro teams. One of the local teams that we have here is going to be the Tidewater. The Tidewater Captains Sand Soccer Club, I believe that's the name. Don't fact. Go ahead and fact check me.
Okay.
But that's I have a nephew that's playing in it, and that's what actually kind of That's what kind of drew me to it.
Yeah.
While I was out there, I was just telling my guys, hey, let's go out and let's get some footage, because we don't have much. Soccer footage going on right now, and we would just like to, like I said, like we always will say, it's not just about football and basketball. Here, those are the popular ones, but it's no reason that there are more participants in probably the other sports because it's also year-round. This is another way in which we can get out into our community directly, because that's something that's been here. I don't know how long it's been.
And all abilities too, right? You don't have to be like, it's all ages, all abilities.
Ages, yes, sir.
Yeah.
So you can be, semi-pro or pro. Maybe just go sign up for the participation one year. But I know it's at least been going on for 10 years. I went to one about 10 years ago. I had a brother-in-law that played on one of the teams, and this year he invited me out just to be able to, be a part of that environment as well. And I just think that, it's a wide range of, athletes I'm going to see, but it's a wide range of sports that we want to try to dive into. And that's just going to give us an opportunity to meet who we need to meet, see who we need to see, and just get in our community and make that change from all facets like we know that we can.
If you're walking down at the ocean front, well, one, you can't miss it.
Yeah.
2, check it out. It's really, really cool. It's different. Guys, it's going to be an awesome weekend. I think we have a lot of fun stuff coming up. Next week, obviously, we have spring sports jamborees and everything like that. We're going to crown some state champs in baseball, soccer, softball, lacrosse. There's so much going on right now, which I'm sure we'll have no problem filling the time here in the next couple of weeks.
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to it. Check out those regional games this week for soccer. Baseball is really starting to happen. So, Virginia's continuing to be great, and we just seeing, it's everywhere. So I'm looking forward to being able to talk about it with you guys, break it down, and we're getting back into it right here next week. Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Diving in next week. Sports Plug 757 WTKR. Everybody have a great week. Hope to see you next time.